The massive gleaming structure of the Interstellar Academy loomed against the pale lavender sky, its crystalline walls reflecting countless alien architectural designs. Jack Rodriguez stepped through the quantum transparent entrance, his simple, black backpack slung casually over one shoulder, completely unaware of the hundreds of alien eyes now fixed upon him. The first thing the alien students noticed was how differently he moved. Unlike the calculated, precise movements of most galactic species, Jack walked with a fluid, almost unpredictable rhythm. Each step seemed like a potential challenge, each gesture a silent statement of something the aliens couldn't quite understand. Jae Sung, a tall, blue-skinned student from the outer planetary systems, felt his respiratory system constrict slightly. Humans were known, but rarely seen. Rumors about their home planet, a chaotic world called Earth, had circulated through academic channels for decades, but seeing one in person was entirely different. The hallway gradually became silent. Holographic displays flickered, tracking Jack's movement through the Academy's central corridor. Small data points began accumulating around his profile. Height, 182 meters. Weight, 78 kilograms. Origin, Earth. Classification, Deathworld. Jack seemed oblivious to the attention. He checked a small digital map, his fingers moving confidently across the translucent screen. A group of reptilian students from the Krill Confederation instinctively moved aside, their scales shifting to a pale green, a clear sign of nervous energy. "Did you see how he walks?" Hyejin whispered to her colleague Daehyun, her translator converting her native language into a universal communication frequency. "It's like he's ready to fight something that doesn't even exist." Daehyun adjusted his neural interface, scanning Jack's biometric data. Elevated heart rate, relaxed muscle tension, no signs of traditional stress responses that most galactic species exhibited in unfamiliar environments. Jack approached the registration desk, where a holographic attendant shimmered into existence. The AI's voice was neutral, almost mechanical. "Welcome to Interstellar Academy. Please provide your identification and planetary clearance." Without hesitation, Jack pulled out a small digital chip, sliding it across the interface. The chip contained not just his academic credentials, but a comprehensive health record that made most alien medical professionals uncomfortable. Humans, after all, were known for surviving conditions that would terminate other species within moments. The registration AI processed his information, its quantum processors working faster than any biological brain could comprehend. A momentary pause, unusual for such a sophisticated system, suggested it was processing something unexpected. Around Jack, students from 37 different planetary systems watched, whispered, and recorded. Some out of scientific curiosity, others out of a mixture of fear and fascination. A small group of Centaurian students, known for their analytical minds, began running predictive models. What were the chances of this human surviving a standard academic semester? Their complicated mathematical projections kept returning unexpected results. Jack, completely unaware of the academic and biological scrutiny, simply adjusted his thermal jacket and looked around with a calm, almost friendly expression. To the aliens observing him, this seemed like the most bizarre behavior of all. Professor Kwan, standing near a distant observation window, watched the scene unfold. Decades of xenological research had prepared him for many scenarios. But something about this human student felt different. There was an unpredictability, a raw potential that standard academic models couldn't easily categorize. The hallway hummed with a mixture of technological interfaces, alien languages, and unspoken curiosity. Jack Rodriguez had arrived, and the Interstellar Academy would never be the same. As he walked toward his first assigned lecture hall, small data points continued to compile. Origin, Earth. Species, human. Potential, unknown. But potential, as many would soon discover, was something humans had in abundance. The xenobiology lecture hall buzzed with quiet anticipation. Alien students from various planetary systems adjusted their translation devices, expecting another standard academic presentation. What they didn't expect was Jack Rodriguez. Professor Kim stood to the side, her holographic interface flickering, with environmental data from different planetary ecosystems. Jack stood at the center, looking relaxed and slightly amused. "Today," Jack began, "I'll talk about survival on Earth." The first image appeared, a dense green forest with multiple layers of vegetation. Some alien students immediately noticed the complexity: razor-sharp plants, multiple predatory species, unpredictable weather patterns. Jack started describing everyday human activities that would seem impossible to other species. Swimming with sharks, climbing active volcanoes, walking through dense rainforests filled with venomous creatures, living in environments ranging from scorching deserts to freezing Arctic regions. Daehyun's datapad went crazy. Probability calculations flickered rapidly. Survival chances mathematically impossible. Yet here stood Jack, breathing and smiling. A Centaurian student raised a trembling appendage. How do humans survive such extreme conditions? Jack grinned. We adapt, we learn, we overcome. He described how humans developed tools, created protective gear, and developed complex problem-solving skills. Aliens listened, their translator devices working overtime to capture the nuanced information. Yi-Jin watched in fascination. Humans weren't just another species, they were something entirely different. Each story Jack shared challenged everything they knew about biological survival. Jack showed images of medical procedures humans routinely performed. Surgeries that would kill most species became simple technological interventions for humans, breaking bones, healing, returning to complex physical activities within weeks. The lecture hall transformed from a place of academic observation to a space of genuine wonder. Aliens who had previously seen humans as a curiosity now viewed them as something more, a species of incredible resilience and unexpected capability. Professor Kim noticed the shift in atmospheric tension. The students' biometric readings showed increased heart rates, heightened neural activity, genuine excitement. Jack described how human children learned survival skills, how they played in environments that would be considered death traps for other species. Climbing trees, exploring rocky terrains, swimming in unpredictable water bodies. We don't just survive, Jack explained. We challenge our environment. We turn potential threats into opportunities for growth. The Krill Confederation. Students took extensive notes. Their computational systems worked hard to process this new information, trying to understand a species that didn't just adapt to its environment, but constantly reshaped its relationship with it. One particularly brave Valerian student asked about human emotional responses to these constant challenges. Jack's explanation about human psychology, the concept of facing fears, pushing personal boundaries, finding joy in overcoming obstacles, left the aliens momentarily speechless. Daehyun's data calculations began showing something unprecedented. Humans weren't just a survival species, they were a transformative species. Their ability to learn, adapt, and reimagine their limitations seemed almost magical to the assembled alien academics. As the lecture concluded, the atmosphere in the hall had completely changed. What started as a standard academic presentation had become a profound exploration of human potential. Professor Kim approached Jack, her translator device capturing every nuanced detail of his relaxed demeanor. "Impressive presentation," she said, her voice a mixture of professional respect and genuine curiosity. Jack simply smiled. Another day, another opportunity to show that humans were far more than just another species in the vast galactic ecosystem. The lecture hall slowly emptied, but the conversations continued. Whispers, discussions, heated debates about this strange species from a small blue planet. Humans, complex, unpredictable, endlessly fascinating, and Jack Rodriguez had only just begun to show them what humans could do. The Interstellar Academy's central complex suddenly trembled. Soft blue warning lights began pulsing, casting an eerie glow across corridors filled with confused alien students. Jack Rodriguez was walking between lecture halls when the first system failure occurred. Unlike the other students who froze in panic, he immediately assessed the situation. Something was wrong with the atmospheric stabilization system. Alarms started blaring. high-pitched sounds that made the Valerian students curl their sensory tendrils in fear. Holographic warning messages flickered across every surface, displaying critical system failures in multiple sections of the academy. Daehyun stood paralyzed, his computational implants struggling to process the emergency. Around him, alien students began to panic. Some tried to run, others simply shut down their neural interfaces in terror. Jack's training kicked in. Years of emergency response protocols from his home planet suddenly became crucial. He grabbed a nearby communication panel, quickly bypassing standard access protocols. "Everyone remain calm," he shouted. His voice cut through the panic like a sharp knife. Aliens turned, surprised by the humans' sudden commanding presence. The Academy's main environmental control systems were showing critical failures. Oxygen levels were dropping. Pressure systems were becoming unstable. Any other species would have considered this a total catastrophe. Jack started moving. His hands flew across digital interfaces, rerouting power, identifying backup systems that the alien designers had overlooked. Each movement was calculated, precise, without a hint of fear. Professor Kim watched from a distant observation point. Her advanced sensors tracked Jack's actions. Something unusual was happening. The human was solving problems faster than the Academy's own emergency systems. Yijin, initially terrified, found herself watching Jack with a mixture of fascination and respect. Where other students saw a crisis, he saw a complex problem waiting to be solved. Within 17 minutes, Jack had manually recalibrated 3 critical life support systems. Alien technicians who finally arrived found most of the critical failures already addressed. Their advanced computational systems couldn't understand how a single human had managed such rapid intervention. The Krill Confederation students recorded everything. Their scientific curiosity overrode their initial fear. How could one human do what their entire technical team could not? Jack's approach was simple. He didn't panic. He analyzed. He acted. Concepts that seemed alien to most galactic species were second nature to humans. Oxygen levels stabilized. Pressure systems returned to normal. The Academy's emergency protocols, which had seemed so advanced, now looked primitive compared to Jack's quick thinking. Daehyun's datapad showed something unprecedented. Probability of survival under these conditions. Less than 0.03% for most known species. For Jack, 100% success rate. As the crisis settled, alien students looked at Jack differently. He wasn't just another exchange student. He was something more. A problem solver. A survivor. Professor Kim approached Jack, her translator capturing every detail of his calm demeanor. "Impressive intervention," she said, her voice a mixture of professional respect and genuine surprise. Jack simply shrugged. "Just doing what needed to be done," he responded, as if averting a major catastrophe was no big deal. The Academy's administrators would later review the incident logs. Jack's actions defied every known galactic emergency response metric. Humans were no longer just another species. They were an enigma. Whispers spread through the Academy's corridors. Stories of the human who saved hundreds of lives without breaking a sweat. A new respect began to form, not from fear, but from genuine admiration. As systems returned to normal, one thing became clear. The Interstellar Academy had just learned a valuable lesson about humans. They were far more than anyone had ever imagined, and Jack Rodriguez was just getting started. Professor Kwan's office was a marvel of technological sophistication. Holographic displays danced around him, showing complex data streams from Jack Rodriguez's recent emergency intervention. His experienced eyes scanned multiple layers of information, each review revealing something more extraordinary about the human student. The incident report was unlike anything he had seen in decades of academic research. Most species would have collapsed under the pressure of the Academy's system failure. Jack had not just survived, he had solved the problem with remarkable efficiency. Across the Academy, discussions about the human student became increasingly intense. The Krill Confederation researchers began compiling comprehensive studies. Jack Rodriguez was no longer just an exchange student. He had become a living case study of human potential. Dae-hyun and Hyejin found themselves at the center of these discussions. They had witnessed Jack's actions firsthand. Their personal recordings became primary source materials for multiple research projects. He didn't just react, Dae-hyun explained during a research symposium. He analyzed. He understood complex systems faster than our most advanced computational networks. The Academy's senior researchers gathered multiple times, reviewing Jack's background. His academic records showed something unusual. Not just high grades, but an approach to problem-solving that defied traditional galactic understanding. Jack was invited to present his perspectives. Unlike typical academic presentations filled with complex technical language, his talks were straightforward and practical. He spoke about human adaptability, about turning challenges into opportunities. Professor Kim developed a special research module focused entirely on human capabilities. Jack became an unexpected mentor, explaining concepts that seemed simple to humans but revolutionary to other species. The Valerian research team was particularly fascinated. They discovered that humans processed complex information differently. Where most species saw obstacles, humans saw challenges to be conquered. Jack's casual demonstrations became legendary. He would solve complex mathematical problems using intuitive methods that baffled computational systems. He explained survival techniques that seemed impossible by standard galactic metrics. One remarkable demonstration involved Jack explaining how humans train their young. Physical education, problem-solving games, activities that deliberately introduced controlled risks, all designed to build adaptability and resilience. The Academy's Administrative Council met multiple times. They recognized that Jack represented more than an individual student. He was potentially a bridge between human understanding and galactic academic traditions. Research grants were quickly developed. Funding for human studies increased dramatically. Jack found himself at the center of a growing academic movement, representing a species that was rapidly becoming more than a curiosity. His approach to learning was unique. He didn't just absorb information. He challenged it, reshaped it, found practical applications that traditional academic models had overlooked. The Centaurian computational experts were particularly impressed. They began developing new computational models based on human problem-solving techniques. Jack's intuitive approaches were reshaping entire academic disciplines. Professor Kwan's final report was groundbreaking. Humans, he wrote, are not just another species to be studied. They are a paradigm shift in understanding biological and technological potential. Jack remained humble throughout this growing recognition. He continued attending classes, participating in research, sharing his perspectives without any sense of superiority. The Academy's cultural exchange programs were quickly redesigned. Jack had shown that academic and cultural understanding required more than just information exchange. It needed genuine human interaction. As the semester progressed, more alien students began approaching Jack. They wanted to understand this species that seemed to defy every established academic model. The human exchange student had become something more, a living testament to human potential, a bridge between different galactic cultures, and an unexpected academic revolution, and Jack Rodriguez was just getting started. The final presentation day arrived with unprecedented anticipation. Every research department, every academic section of the Interstellar Academy prepared to hear Jack Rodriguez's concluding lecture. Professor Kwan sat in the front row, his advanced neural implants already preparing to record every single detail. The lecture hall was packed, not just with students but with senior researchers from multiple planetary systems. Jack walked onto the stage wearing a simple blue jacket. No advanced technological accessories, no complex presentation tools, just a human, ready to share his perspective. "Humans are not special," he began. "We are simply different." The translation systems worked overtime, converting his simple words into multiple alien languages. But the message was clear and direct. He started explaining human evolution, how living on a challenging planet, constantly dealing with unpredictable environments, dangerous creatures, and complex survival scenarios, had shaped their species differently. Holographic displays showed Earth's diverse environments: freezing Arctic regions, burning deserts, dense rainforests, volcanic landscapes. Each image told a story of constant adaptation. The Valerian researchers leaned forward. Their computational systems were working hard, trying to understand the complex narrative Jack was presenting. Jack described how humans transformed challenges into opportunities, how they didn't just survive. They reimagined their relationship with their environment. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw potential solutions. Daehyun's datapad was generating unprecedented computational models. Each of Jack's statements challenged established galactic understanding of biological development. He talked about human psychology, the ability to face fear, to push personal boundaries, to find joy in overcoming challenges. Concepts that seemed alien to most species were fundamental to human existence. The Krill Confederation students took extensive notes. Their research teams would spend years analyzing this single presentation. Jack explained human educational approaches, how they deliberately introduced controlled risks in children's development, how problem-solving was not just an academic skill but a cultural practice. Professor Kim watched with professional fascination. This was more than a lecture. This was a cultural revelation. Practical examples followed. Jack demonstrated simple, human survival techniques that would be considered impossible for most galactic species: climbing complex structures, managing unexpected environmental changes, solving problems with limited resources. The lecture hall's atmosphere transformed. What started as an academic presentation became a profound exploration of human potential. We don't conquer environments, Jack explained. We adapt, we learn, we grow. His final demonstration involved a complex problem-solving exercise. While alien students struggled, Jack showed multiple intuitive solutions that seemed to emerge from pure human creativity. The Centaurian computational experts were stunned. Their advanced systems couldn't predict the solutions Jack presented. As the presentation concluded, something fundamental had changed. The Interstellar Academy was no longer just observing another species. They were understanding a fundamentally different approach to existence. Professor Kwan's final assessment was groundbreaking. Humans were not just another species to be studied. They represented a complete paradigm shift in understanding biological and technological potential. The Academy's research departments would never be the same. New interdisciplinary programs emerged, focused entirely on understanding human adaptability. Jack Rodriguez had done more than complete an academic semester. He had transformed how an entire galactic community understood potential, adaptation, and survival. And as he walked off the stage, something remarkable happened. The entire lecture hall, filled with species from across the galaxy, stood and applauded. A human had just rewritten their understanding of what was possible.